Dang, you recording? How you doing, bro? Copy that. Hand up. I got some homework. Damn, he just. Os. All right. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
All right. Let me see. Dexter, how you doing? Good. Deja, how you doing? You seem upset today.
I am upset.
I don't want to know why. How you doing though? You upset? I'm sorry about that. Shania, how you doing? It's been a long time. Jamar, how you feeling?
Great.
Jamal, I'm sorry. Jamal, how you doing? Good. You guys were in the same line. All right, real quickly, go ahead and copy down this objective and agenda. Let me see. Shakita, can you read it for me?
Is that supposed to say Tuesday?
You're right. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Objective. Students will be able to compare the grid and the smart grid. Agenda, do now, modeling the grid, annotated reading, modeling the smart grid, and exit ticket. Announcement. For your homework, you will need to complete a model and an exit ticket online. Schoology title, flip phone versus smartphone, exit ticket. There is a second question.
All right, so while y'all are copying this down, I want you to think about what you're going to share with your partner based on this do now question. Micaiah, can you read that do now question for me?
Using evidence from your homework, what is the difference between flip phone and smartphone? What do you prefer? Which do you prefer?
All right, so take about 30 more seconds copying that down, and then we're going to share with our partner. Think about what you said or what you wrote. Take 30 more seconds. Go ahead and share with your partner. Go.
I said a flip phone is less advanced than the smartphone.
Flip phone don't have touch screen.
Then with a flip
It
phone,
doesn't have the same technology that a smartphone has. I think flip phones don't even have a back camera. Front camera. And it's cheap and they're hard to break. And smartphones really professional and easy to break.
on the flip phone, there is no front camera. It's not like good selfie.
No, it's just back.
So,
How do you take like
ain't nobody got time.
You turn it around.
But yeah, mine was mostly
right there?
it's less advanced.
30 more seconds.
It's less advanced in technology.
That's flip phone only have one camera, and what a smartphone has two.
Where
So,
is
if
it,
you
man?
lose the smartphone, you can track it.
Y'all get 1 point as a class as well.
It is hard
I
to
mean, on this one, there is no front camera.
I said the flip phone does not have the internet, while the smartphone does. The smartphone has apps.
All
apps.
All that.
Hey, bun everywhere. Your bun gonna be everywhere. And I had a fight this weekend. Oh God, I'm ready. All right, so real quickly, let's go ahead and have some share out. Grant, what you say?
I said the difference between a flip phone and a smartphone is that a flip phone is less advanced than an iPhone. I mean, a smartphone. Being the reason because the smartphone can hold up more gigabytes than a flip phone, making the smartphone more useful.
What do you mean more gigabytes? What is a gigabyte?
It's like it's data, like it's the amount of space. I mean, the amount of stuff you could put on an iPhone.
Okay.
Applications, other stuff.
Okay. All right. So you're saying that smartphones have more data, more storage space.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. I like that. Adonis, do you agree?
Yeah.
Can you add anything? Why do you agree? What can you do differently with a smartphone than you can with a flip phone?
Smartphone is to respond to you,
What do you mean?
like talk to text and like Google search when you press the little microphone.
All right, I like that. What would you call that? What would you call that, Shakita?
Sure.
No, what would you call that? The smartphone can do more. He's saying talk to text, things like that. What would you call that?
Gain information.
You're not Shakita.
I know I'm not.
You've said it several times.
Yeah, I don't know.
What did you call it? Advanced what?
Oh, advanced technology?
What does that mean?
Like, you can do more with it. Yeah, I don't know.
What does it mean that you have advanced technology? What does that
Like,
mean?
it's, smartphones are more advanced to, like, this evolving technology, which means, like, I don't know how to explain it.
Then what? What can you do differently?
Everything.
Like what? That's when you give examples, right?
Okay, like on the flip phone, there's like, on most of them, there's only a back camera, so you can't take like no selfie like you can on the smartphone since it's like a front camera. And then it takes longer to text because you know you gotta press that same button like 3 times just to get one letter.
Mhm.
Like you could be type the whole paragraph on the smartphone.
I drank from
All right, I like that. Jamal, what do you want to add? Go for it.
They do more stuff for you, whereas you doing it yourself. Like he was saying, like the
What's his
Google
name?
search, Adonis. Like the Google search stuff, like you could just say something like, "Hey Siri, what's going on in the world?" or something like that. And she'd tell you. Like,
So you would say it would be like more functional or
Yeah.
efficient? All right.
Yeah.
Moving into what we're talking about now. What is the difference between the grid and the smart grid then? What is the difference between the grid and the smart grid? Deja, go for it. What do you think?
I believe a grid just shows the basic of things.
Like what? What is the grid? What does the grid do for us? What is the grid? What does the grid do for us? Shamar, what is the grid? What does the grid do for us?
The grid has more technology where you could control how much energy is being used, and
We're talking about just the grid, the basic
Oh.
electrical grid. What is the grid?
it's just a distributor of energy from the power source, the power plant to your home,
So what is it getting to us?
giving electricity to us.
Absolutely. All right. The grid is the basic way that we get electricity. What do you think the difference between the grid and the smart grid would be? What would be the difference, the primary difference, Dexter?
It's more advanced and it's cheaper, or like you don't use as much power and stuff as you do with the regular grid.
In what way do you think the smart grid is cheaper and has more technology or more advanced?
Because they use like the wind, like the windmill and stuff.
5 merit points. I like that. All right. That's one way that's different. What does the grid use to get power? Go for it, Jamar.
Cold.
Coal. All right. So you're going to be substituting a renewable resource for a non-renewable resource. So this is what we're moving into. Think about that in your models. All right. So what we're going to get into now. Let me see how we should do this. Matter of fact, I want you all to do that reading first. So take 10 minutes, perform that annotated reading, and then we're going to jump into our modeling. All right? So that you all can get more information about the smart grid in particular.
All eyes on Mr. Collins.
All right, so real quickly, what we're going to be working on for the remainder of class is our models of the grid and the smart grid. All right? I'm giving you my example of the grid on the board. Dexter, can you repeat one major difference between the grid and the smart grid?
The smart grid has wind power.
All right, smart grid can have wind power or other renewable energy sources like solar panels, things like that. Based on the reading grid, what did you see that the smart grid had that the regular grid does not?
It said smart grid is simply a significant revamping of the technology such as use sensors
What?
the regular grid don't.
Put it in your own words. What?
I don't know. All I said was that the current grid didn't have like meters and sensors that the smart grid has.
All right, so the current grid doesn't have meters and sensors. All right, so you need to discuss what those sensors do. So I have my model up here. You can actually copy my model of the grid. I want you all to go into your own model of the smart grid, however, using the readings that we've done. All right, so take about 10 minutes. You can copy my model. It's also a clearer version of Os. Os. All right. Real quickly, Jamar, can you read that second question for me?
How is this analogy for the grid and the smart grid? Think about the use of technology in each system. Do you prefer the grid or the smart grid?
All right. So how is the flip phone and smartphone an analogy for the smart grid and the grid? I want you to take 1 minute, just talk to your neighbor about that question. Go.
It does the basic, like cell phone, like regular grid, it does the basic. The grid just provides electricity
And this
to
is
shop the basic cost. Then I said the smart grid, like the smart grid, smartphone.
Megan.
Megan.
Megan. All right. Shania, go for it. How is this analogy appropriate?
I said this analogy is appropriate because the smartphone is similar to the smart grid and the flip phone is similar to the regular grid. You can benefit from the smartphone more. You can benefit from the smart grid, the smart grid more because it takes up less energy.
Okay, takes up less energy. I like that. We'll get more into that. Greg, go for it.
Yeah, like with the analogy is head on. Like I agree with what she said about.
Who is she?
Shania said that. Well, we know what she said.
You gotta repeat it. Go. What she said?
She said that the smart grid is just like the smartphone, and the regular grid is like the flip phone. But they both can be used. Both of them curate electricity, and both flip phone and smartphone, you can both get a phone call.
So they serve the same purpose?
Same purpose, but the smart grid and the smartphone, you can get more out of it. That's what I'm trying to say.
I like that. Dexter, do you agree with Greg? You can get more out of the smart grid than the smartphone?
Yeah.
In what way?
It's like this. In the smart grid, it's like you use less, electricity than you do with like the regular grid. And like with the smartphone, just like you can do more stuff than you can do with a regular flip phone.
What's so important about the smart grid? What's so important about it? Why would it be good to use? Shakita, then Jamar.
I said smart grid is better because it helps consumers save money on like the electricity bill because like the electricity used is measured, so it's more eco-friendly.
All right, I like that. Merit points. Eco-friendly. All right, so you don't use up as much of the environment.